Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nilesh and you're watching Techie Programmer. So today in this video we are going to talk about Python's conditional statements, that is if, else and elif. So let us go. Let me just open up my PyCharm here. And here I just want to say that this is the notes I will be uploading in the description and you can just go and download and run. So today we are going to understand Python's if, elif and else. So what is if statement? If statement is kind of a condition statement. When certain condition is true, then that particular block of code is executed. So let me just show you how if condition works. And before that, what we need to know is, as I said, there are conditions in order to, like, if the condition to be satisfied so that it should work. So these are some conditions that we can use, or we have to use. For example, you can test if the like alphabets, or if the variables are equal, not equal, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, etc. So these are certain conditions, set of conditions. We can use this in order to compare so that we get a boolean expression that is true or false. We call these as comparison operators. So let's start. Let me just declare a variable a equals to 10 and say b equals to 20 and say c equals to 30. Let me just again declare it as 10. So what is the if statement is, how to do a if statement is, in Python you just need to write a keyword called if and then followed by a condition. So condition, then you need to end up with this colon and then hit enter, and you can see here there is a space of 4. I will just explain you what is this here. And then what we can do is print or your block of code. For example, if I want to print hello, if the condition is true, then it should print hello. Then this is how a syntax would look. So let me just write my condition here. If I want to say if a equals to b, if a equals to b, and then print hello. When I try to do this, what happens here is it doesn't print anything. I can just show. Here you can see it doesn't print anything because the value a is not equal to b. And let me just change here. If I say if a not equal to b, just print hello, then you can see here I get hello, because it checks if the condition is true, then this block is executed. So I just wanted to show you that what happens if I do not give the space after this. Like you have given a 4 space, right? So that is called as indentation, and indentation is the method, or we can just say indentation is nothing but spacing. So you need to provide a proper indentation to make sure that particular block of code belongs to that particular, like whatever the condition or loop you are trying to, or just a block of code like in that particular box. So here you can see, as I said, if a, let me just make it as a equals b, which turns out to be false because a is 10 and b is 20. And if I remove this indentation here and let me try to print it, here you can see it says an indentation error and expected an indented block. So what it means is, if you want to put certain block of like condition, and if you want to write that particular code, then you need to make sure that you have properly indented your code, which makes sure that your particular block of code is inside that particular loop or that particular whatever the action you are performing. So this is where the indentation comes. And then talking about, this is how if works, that is if, then condition followed by a colon, then you have statements. We can just this spacing is not compulsory, like I mean is not exact that it should be this much itself, like 1 count or 2 count. It should be constant wherever you go through. So in this, what we do is we go for 4 spaces. You can just see 1 2 3 4. So we call it as 4 space of indentation. So if I want to write anything that inside this particular if statement, if I want to print hello world, and now after printing hello, if I want to print word, then what I can do is I can just print it here, print word, word. So what happens is, if the condition is true, then this hello and word will be printed. And what if I just remove this and try to run this, what happens in this case here is, when the condition is true, the hello will be printed and word will be anyhow printed because it is out of the if block. So this is how it works. In this case, this word is out of the if block, and if I want to put this back into the if block, then I just need to make sure I have properly indented into that. Just you can see, this is what indentation means. So now let us move on to elif condition. Elif stands for else if. So if we have multiple condition, for example, if you want to test, let me say if a equals b, a equals c. So what does this do is, it will check if a equals b, which in this case is false, so it just ignores this. Then comes to elif and then checks if a equals c, and it's true because a equals 10 and c equals 10. So it just checks, and if the condition is satisfied, then it's called, like, it just turn out to be true and it just prints a equals c. So let me just run this here. So here you can see it prints a equals c, and just, I mean, it just executes this block because it stands for else and if. And the syntax that we use here is, we start with if, we do whatever we have to do in our if block. Then if this condition is not satisfied, then it will check for else if block, that is elif, and in elif, that is like elif, then your condition, a colon, and then your whatever statement is. And once done with else if, let me just copy this code and let us understand how the else works. So what we are doing here is, if this condition is false, then it just ignores this, and if this condition is false, then it just ignores this, and finally, if like both of these conditions fail, then we go with the else, which does not take any condition. Like for example, this if took a condition for a equals b, and elif, even elif took a condition for a equals c. So it is taking some parameters to say yes or no, but else is like absolutely done with. Like if it's okay, like if it yes, then it do this, else just do this. So else print, let me just say, numbers condition field, conditionfield. So what happens here is, now we know that this condition is gonna be satisfied. I will just make it false because a not equal to c will be false. So a equals b is false, so it doesn't execute this. A is not equal to c, so it doesn't execute this. As these two fails, it should execute the else statement. Let me just show you, so that it says condition failed. So here you can see it says condition failed. So what does it mean is, this fails, then else. It's like, try this, if it doesn't work, go with this. So this is how else statement works. And we also have a shorthand writing. Like for example, if you are just going to go with a single line statement, like if you do not have a lot of conditions or a lot of statement after this, then what you can do is go with like this, like if I want to say, if a equals c, print yes. Okay, so let me just run this. So you can see it prints yes. It is that if statement is written in a single line. You can just do this, like if you have only one statement that you want to do, if the condition is true, then you can do like this. An example for shorthanded if would be like this, something like this, that is print yes if a equals c, else print no. So here you can see it makes sense, like print yes if a equals c, else print no. Because what happens here is a equals to c, yes it's true, hence it prints yes. And if it is the condition fails, let me just make it so that it should fail that condition. So what happens here is a is not equal to c, which is not true, that is false. So what it does is it just ignores this and prints no. Let me just show you. So here you can see it prints no. So this is how a shorthanded if else statement work. Coming to and is like the true condition, as we had discussed this about and or in our previous videos. So I hope you remember that. If not, you can just have a look at it here. So if I say if, we can add a multiple statement here, that is if a equals c and a not equal to b, print condition satisfied. Let me just run this. So it says condition satisfied, because this, even this is true and this is true, and is nothing but multiplication. So a equals true is 1 into 1, 1 into 1 is 1, so hence it condition is satisfied and it prints this. Let us try this for or. Let me just copy this code. So let me just make a changes here, that is or. Let me just run this. So it says condition satisfied. Let me just try to manipulate this. So it says condition satisfied. A is not equal to c is false, and a not equal to b is true, and hence either one of this condition is true. So this whole set turns out to be true, because 0 plus 1 is 1, so hence we get this output. So this is how OR statement works in if. Like this is how I can combine two conditions here, and here I can combine two conditions with and then finally coming to a nested if. Nested if is something like if we have a major big like parent if condition, in that we like put our another if condition. It is something like this: if a equals c, and if it is true, if let me say a not equal b, print both conditions satisfied. So makes sense, that is if this condition is true, come down and you can do anything, add some like line of or your own code, and then add another if block wherein you can set another condition, and then say like you can just indent, make sure that you indent it properly. If this indentation is here, it just means that this print statement is under this if block, and if you go ahead, then again it means this if like this print condition, like print statement is under this block. So make sure the indentation is proper. Indentation is a major role which keeps your code beautiful, clean, and more understandable and readable. Plus it is the like syntax, or it is the only way that Python understand that this particular block of or this particular statement belongs to this particular block. So this is how multiple or nested if statement works. And then we have a pass statement. This is when, for example, if you are writing a whole lot of big code and you are not sure about writing what to write in your if statement, and still if you want to run your program, then if I just write something like if a equals c and just leave it like this, then if I try to run this, it will throw me an error because it says end of the file while phrasing. So what you can do is just hit on enter and you can just write pass, so that what it does is it just ignores the error and you can write your code for a while and then return to your if condition and pass whatever your data you want to, or that whatever statements you want to do. So this pass is just kind of a pass for this if statement, and it just what it does is just ignores the error and it continues the keeps the flow of your code. So we have discussed if statement, then like these are the comparisons. Then we discussed the if statement, indentation, elif, then else, then a shorthand, how to write the if condition in shorthand, if else shorthand, and an or operator, and then nested ifs, how we can if like make the list of if. You can even add another if here inside a if condition, or also you can do is you can add multiple ifs conditions inside a top level if condition. And then I have like stated this how the pass works. Pass is just to in order to skip the part of the code. So that's it for today. If you have made up to the end, do like, share and subscribe, and see you in the next video.